to episode 10 of Podcast Paradise. I'm your host, Max Paradise. Um, Today we are sponsored by. We're not sponsored by anyone, actually. We don't have a sponsor. If you'd like to sponsor the show, podcastparadise@gmail.com, where the E in paradise is a 3. Today I brought on my longtime friend Kai to discuss the All NBA teams. Now that the season's kind of winding down, we felt like it'd be a good time to kind of, bounce some thoughts off of him, kind of the directions I'm leaning. And we end up talking about the MVP race, LeBron, and kind of this whole Lakers fiasco that the season's been. And we get into we actually disagreed on who the current best player in the league is. So if you want to hear all that, I would highly recommend to continue listening. Let's just get to the show. What's up? This is episode, what is this now? 10, I think. And we're back with, I guess we can call you a regular guest at this point. This is
I'd say
episode
so.
3 for you. Yeah, we've got Kai Henson talking to us from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh yeah, ready to talk some NBA. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so what do we have left? Like a month and a week, something like that.
Yeah, like give or take 16 games, 15 games or it's 15 to 17 games for most teams. Is about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the time where like I finally, because it's like the season's like over 80% done.
Mm-hmm.
I finally feel comfortable kind of talking about all NBA teams at this
Definitely,
point.
the time is starting to come.
Mm-hmm. The All NBA has always mattered to me more than the All Star.
I'd say so.
Yeah,
By a lot.
not only because like it's harder to get into because less players make it, but it's the whole
Mm-hmm.
season.
Yeah, it's
Like
not just that you can fall
All Star
off.
is
Yeah.
like All Star is like what, like 2/3 of the season. Like you can just get white hot before All Star, or you can get
Or you
white
can
hot
be
at
hurt.
the end, or you can be hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, you could play for All-Star. You could play a couple months, get hurt, still make the All-Star team, get replaced, but on your resume you're an All-Star for that season, whereas you're not going to be All-NBA if the rest of the season you're hurt, So yeah, All-NBA definitely, in my mind as well, carries much more weight.
Yeah, and you can have those weird All-Stars too, like where like Mo Williams in 2009, where like he's an injury
Just
replacement and gets
random,
picked by the Cleveland coach, but it'll
Yeah.
always say 2009 All-Star.
Mo Williams is an All-Star. It's true. So yeah, and because like you then with all NBA you kind of break it into tiers as well with the All-Star, like the captains, whatever that was supposed to be. But with this, you have your first, your second, so it's the first team is really that elite group of best players in the league. So I think I hope it means something to the players. I think it does. And it definitely means something league wide. Like if you can get incentives in your contract, you'll get a big contract. If you make an All NBA team, so it's definitely a big deal. Definitely something worth talking about.
All right, so I'll let you pick how this is kind of easier to break this down. Do you want to go like first team guard, then second team guard, then third team guard, then go to the forwards and the centers, or would you rather just do first team and then move on to the second team and move on to the third?
We could do first, then second, then third.
Okay.
So, and just refresh if there is an official rule for me. Guard, forward, center on the all, because I at least on the all rookie teams I've noticed that it can be a little wacky. And I wasn't sure if the all NBA teams had a specific rule. If you knew, if it had to be certain positions. I mean, because the league is almost positionless at this point. So.
Yeah, it's still 2 guard, 2 forward, 1 center.
Okay.
On each team.
Okay.
So first team for the 2 guards, I have James Harden and Steph Curry.
That seems more than logical. That's what I was about to say too. Yeah, I think that's really a no-brainer. It's those two.
anytime you have like a top 3 MVP candidate, it's their first team
Their
locks.
first team,
So
yeah,
Harden's
easily.
there, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I think Curry has to be 4th for MVP right now.
I mean, yeah, me too, because it's the best team, in the West. I'm not gonna say. I think KD's a better player, but I guess Steph is more valuable. Steph is more valuable to his team.
Mhm.
So the best performer on the best team
Mhm.
in the Western Conference has to be up there. Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, and he's had a really underrated season too.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
he's nearly at 50 40 90 at 28 a game.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking at it actually right now. He's shooting 48, 44, and um, 92. So that's ridiculous.
Mhm.
Averaging 28 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and a little over a steal. With just under 3 turnovers a game, that's Steph Curry numbers, but yeah, it's not
Mhm.
as talked about like his 15, 16
Mhm.
season and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
it's only like literally I think it's only 2 points and like 2% from the
it
field
is,
worse than that. Like he's
it
like
is.
90%, maybe higher of what that season was.
Mm-hmm.
The o-
He
the
is
only
just about
reason
right there.
the only reason I wouldn't put him in the top 3 is just cuz he's missed too many games.
True. Yeah, that's
He's
very fair. But if we're talking about All NBA, it's Stephen Harden. It's Stephen Harden easily. I
mhm.
mean, because it's obviously Harden. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
argue against him being All NBA. You can argue against him being MVP, maybe, but you can't. There isn't an argument against him for All NBA.
Mhm.
So that makes the backcourt pretty easy.
Yeah. And then for my 2 forwards, I think this is the easiest part of the whole ballot. It's Giannis and Paul George.
Yeah, agreed. I
The
was
other 2 MVP candidates.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, we'll get to the second team in a second. There's another guy who always hangs around there for the forward that we can talk about when we get to the second team.
Mhm.
But yeah, this season, Paul George. It's obviously Giannis. I think it's obviously Giannis, and Paul George has really. I mean, he kind of surprised everyone with how he's played this year. I mean, he's really that. To me, at least maybe to a lot of people who they still look at Russell's triple double and everything, but I mean that's Paul George's team. They're where they are
Yes.
because of Paul George. And he's absolutely on fire. He's having an incredible season. So that puts him above LeBron, above Kawhi and those guys for the first team. So it has to be them
Mhm.
too for sure.
Yeah, and I think who do you have for MVP right now? Who are you kind of leaning towards?
Um, I guess I still, because I think in the last episode when we had talked about it, I said Harden.
Mhm.
Um, I guess I'm still there, and because they've started to play even better than when we last talked about it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they have.
so I'd stick with him because now like you have more of that team success attribute to it, whereas before like they were kind of lower, um, and it was like yeah he's doing all this, but it was more the arguments against Russell's MVP season when he was going crazy, and they were still the 6th seed and mediocre, and obviously lost easily in the first round. We'll see what happens to Houston um, in the
And
first round. I think.
I don't think a lot of the negatives about Westbrook's season apply to Harden. Like Harden is not like stealing rebounds from his
Mm-hmm.
teammates and like getting pissed at them because they miss a shot, so he ends with 9 assists.
Exactly.
He's actually really trying to win as much
Yeah,
as
he's
possible.
really trying. Yeah, and he puts it all out there. Yeah, like you can. His defense has improved vastly, and like yeah, you can poke holes in the way he plays and all that, but he knows what's gonna work, how the NBA works, how he can manipulate the rules and push them to their limits, and I admire that to an extent, but I do admire that, and I think that and the team success and paired with just I mean you then if you get to the stat line, if you talk about that, and then you get to just his pure stats, it's like whoa, yeah. MVP. What about you? Who would you pick?
Well, first, I just want to say something about Harden. I always thought like just I mean maybe this was stupid, but like I always thought like Oh man, Steph Curry might be the only player to ever handily clear the 300 threes in a season mark. Steph
Mm.
has one season at 402, which is the highest ever,
Yeah.
and then he has one at like 320 something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Harden, I think, is on pace for like 375 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I never even thought that was possible for a
Yeah.
non-Steph Curry player.
Yeah. Not. Yeah. Someone who's not just insanely automatic. Yeah. James
Hmm.
Harden right now has 294 threes.
Yeah, that
Um,
he's easily gonna
which
pass.
leads the league. Yeah. And something that always makes my stomach turn a little bit when I check out a Rockets box score is him like 6 for 19 and all this. So that makes it hard. Um, that makes it hard. But then I guess my number 2 MVP is Giannis. But then he doesn't shoot anything. He shoots it even more. So it's like, uh, um, but then there's then you can talk about Giannis about different things about Giannis all day long. But yeah, he shoots a lot of them, but then when you boil it down, he has those games where it's awful. But at the end of the day, he's shooting 44 from the field and 36 from the arc. Like those are solid,
Hmm.
pretty much average numbers. Maybe that
Yeah,
3-point tick is a little bit above average, especially for the amount that he shoots.
and the type
Um,
he shoots, like standstill,
true,
step back
true.
threes.
Never in rhythm, never catch and shoot. Like just
Yeah.
launching. Um,
Okay,
yeah.
but
So you have
that's a good segue though, because I actually disagree with you on the MVP. If I
yeah. I
mean
thought
in full disclosure, I'll admit I do have money on him to win.
Yeah, I think he's got. I mean, when you like the whoever like the media and all the people who vote out, Harden's winning. Harden
No,
is the MVP.
I'm talking about I have money on the guy I think should win.
Oh,
But I'm saying
oh, oh,
I'm just trying to get that out there
oh.
as
Okay,
just
okay.
kind of
I
like a
see. I see.
disclaimer
Okay.
in just to be fully
Mm-hmm.
upfront. But
Okay.
I
That's
have
fair.
thought about it, and I think I would vote for Giannis even if I did
Mm.
not have money on him.
Mm. That's right. Like I just said, I mean, he's number, and you can talk about him all day long. And yeah, for me, I'll give my little bit. You can go into him, but like
Hmm.
where I'm not even gonna really argue against you too much. Because that's totally fair. Um, because I think what puts him right up there is obviously he's the dominant numbers. He's even improved this year. Last year he had fairly dominant numbers, but the fact they are winning games. They are the
Hmm.
first seed in the Eastern Conference. That was
They have the best record in
unprecedented.
the league.
The best record, yeah, in the entire league. That's so insanely unprecedented. Yeah, so that I mean, when it comes down to it, we'll see how these last month play out. That could, it's very for me. For me, Harden and Giannis are very, very close. And like I just said, I think Harden, like regardless of who you think should, I think Harden will. I don't see like the people who like like just like with the trends of who wins the MVP. Yeah, like him, he's averaging almost 37 points a game. I think he's just gonna get the MVP.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Giannis. I mean, they've overperformed. They've done, insanely well this year. So yeah, you go all in. Yeah, go for it.
Hmm. So here's the case for Giannis. One, you mentioned the record. They have the best record in the NBA. They have like
Mm-hmm.
almost a 10 plus point differential or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Harden has obviously he had like the middle, like call it 70% of the season where he was just
Mm.
on fire.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of this, he didn't start out that way. And recently, like maybe around All-Star to now, it has kind of looked like he's tired out a little. I mean, it's
Mm.
to be expected. It's not a knock on him,
Oh yeah.
but it has looked like he's kind of struggling to get the same shots that he used to be able to get 2 months
Mm-hmm.
ago.
I see. Yeah.
Um, and the fact that Chris Paul has come back has kind of sneakily been something they've really needed because they
Mm-hmm.
need kind of that second creation.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's a surprise that they're really winning and really clicking together now that CP is back.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's a surprise, but I think that helps Harden. I think it helps Harden's case. I mean, yeah, I think having good players around you should help your MVP.
Yeah, I'm not saying
odds because because of that. Yeah, they're winning games like you said. It is expected, but to me that I'm like okay, like now I can more comfortably say Harden's MVP. If they were like still down with like they were hanging down in that like little jumble down there in like the 7th or 8th spot for a little bit before CP came back. I mean that was maybe a little bit longer ago. I feel like they've been in that like middle like 5-6 range for a few weeks now.
And I think they're tied for 4th now, actually.
Oh, okay. But I mean, yeah, they've really been winning. But you're right about they struggled out of the gate even with CP there. Did CP not?
No, he started there.
He started the season. And they were slow out of the. I remember that they're slow out of the gates. They for the first like couple weeks of the season, they weren't even in the quote unquote playoff. Obviously, it's so early, but they weren't even in the top 8 teams. And I was like, this is the team that's supposed to contend with the Warriors this season. But that also you could take another angle, and that could speak to how great Harden's season has been and how he sort of pulled them out of that. But still, CP coming back now has really solidified them and kept them where they are and tied them for the 4th seed. But there's a few angles you could take there. But with the Bucks, if we're still talking about Giannis here, with the Bucks, they've been winning all season long. I mean, they haven't really had much of any slump at all that I'm totally aware of. So
no, not really. My point with the CP thing is more that I think it's kind of sneakily saved Harden's MVP case more than people realize, because he was just kind of at that point where he was kind of running out of gas and he was going to falter.
So then he comes back. Yeah, I gotcha.
And then I think the other things about Giannis. One, is like an A player on both ends.
Yeah, you're right.
The Bucks have like something like do they have the best defense in the league right now or close to it?
I think so. They're definitely top 5.
And if you look down their roster, I think you'd have a hard time picking anybody else as their best defensive player.
Yeah, no, Giannis. Yeah, Giannis is definitely their best. Definitely their best defensive player. That's not even a question. I mean, and then you just slew of like really solid above average defenders.
Yeah. And then the other thing about Giannis is I just think in general his season has kind of been like weirdly underrated because of the Harden thing. He's at like 13 rebounds a game for like someone who like when he came into the league was like considered a small forward. I don't think there's been anyone
that is pretty incredible. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's been anyone ever who's had his like rebounds, points, assists combination ever of 27, 13, and 6.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Right now he's averaging 27 points, 12.6 rebounds, and 6 assists a game, a steal and a half, and a block and a half. His field goal percentage is 58.
And he's gotten better every month.
From 3, like I remember.
And it's in general, in the beginning of the year, like the first maybe month and a half, we'll call it, he was leading the league in turnovers at like a Russell Westbrookian, like, oh my God, this is a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
That's not really that big of an issue anymore.
His total turnovers per game is 3.8 this season, but
and it started at like 5 or maybe even higher.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's gotten better from just his jump shot. His 3-point shot has looked way better.
His 3-point shot he's got his long range percentage up to 24, and I remember checking his stats like a few weeks ago, and it was in like the teen to mid teens. So that means he's hit him at a good clip if it's gotten up to the mid 20s.
Yeah, I think he was at 40% for February.
Damn. Yeah, he was 2 for 3 from 3 the other night, 3 for 4 a different night, 1 for 2, 2 for 3. So he's working his way. He's working his way up. He even had a 3 for 3 night from 3 against Washington when they won, like about a month ago. I mean, so I'm looking at his game log. I mean, he really has just gotten better as the season gone on, which does speak to that MVP case, especially because the team as a whole they've soared with the best record in the league. I mean, that was out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would pick Giannis. I don't think you can really go wrong with Harden, but I'm definitely team Giannis this year.
Yeah, I'm nearly team Giannis. But yeah, and I feel like another reason I say Harden is because, like I said, like I feel like he is gonna win. Like I feel like they're just gonna give it to him. So like if I'm gonna get on a show and like talk about it, I'll go with him. But I would not be. I would almost even be more happy if Giannis won. I mean, obviously you always root for um, variations and new players reaching heights and all this stuff. Because I mean, Harden won the MVP last year. You know, you can give it up to somewhere else, and Giannis definitely does deserve it. I don't think there's a question about that.
Mm-hmm. And he's just so devastating. Like he rarely has bad games. It's just every single game is like he's dunking. Like
Yeah,
it seems like every 2 minutes he's dunking on like the other
yeah,
team's center. He's getting to the line like at will. It's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. It's true. Yeah. Whereas Harden, if his shot isn't falling, his dominance is not nearly as apparent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, you
Yeah.
ready
Very
to move
fair.
on to center?
Yeah, I was about to ask. Yeah. So who is your first team center? Because I'm having a bit of a hard time with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough
This to
one.
me is the only real debate on the first team. Is who
Mm-hmm.
do you have at center? I think it's between Embiid and Jokic, and
Mm.
I really kind of like went back and forth between them. And right now I'm leaning Jokic.
Yeah, same. I would say same.
Hmm
Um, I think Jokic is just a better player. Period.
Really, because I find that I'm much more worried about Jokic in the playoffs than Embiid
Really.
because of Embiid's defense.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I feel like it's
Okay.
easier to kind of poke at Jokic, especially when the playoffs come and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we're just gonna go at him every single possession and try to make him move his feet.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of the slowest players in the league.
Hmm
But yeah, that is fair. But I'm just thinking the way he affects the game offensively is just much greater than Embiid, especially with Embiid's downtick and 3-point shooting this season. Um, so who would you definitively say? Do you have a definitive first team center at this point?
Yeah, I am leaning Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's it's hard to ignore like a center who is like pretty much almost like like the de facto point guard in some
Mm-hmm.
ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like all like the old like legends that you hear about, like, oh, Bill Russell and Bill Walton and Arvydas Sabonis like running the offense from like
Yeah.
the free throw line as a center.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that's pretty much what he's doing.
that's him. No, that is him. I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah.
dishing. He's dishing out almost say this as the game. I mean, he runs the show. He sets these guys. He makes these their guards. He makes them so much. It makes the game come easier to them. I feel like he has that floor general effect. When I watch him play, it feels like he the Nuggets play very confident. They're a very confident team, and you can see that in the way they play. And I feel like Jokic is fuels that. I mean, with the
Yeah,
way he can
absolutely.
get you easy buckets, get you going. Just when the ball, when the ball's in his hands, he's not going to turn it over too much. It's very safe with him. The offense will run smoothly through him, and that just gets all the other guys just going. And when you get a couple of those guards going, like last night it was Will Barton getting going late to close up the Lakers. Like when you get a couple of those guards going, then that's when the Nuggets get really good, and Jokic is the fuel behind all of that. Absolutely.
And I think it really it's kind of like an underrated thing, is like, because sometimes if you cut to the basket and you're like open for a layup and somebody doesn't see you, or if you're open in the corner and you don't get a pass, like it can kind of be like,
Mm-hmm.
I got,
Yeah,
like when
exactly.
you play with him, if you
He
are
will
open, he
find.
finds you every
Mm-hmm.
single time. He's always looking.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just that in general, like when you're playing, you're like, all right, if I work to cut and get open, I know I'm gonna get it if I get open.
Yeah, I
So
know.
they
I'm gonna get it.
so
Gonna
they
get an easy
cut
shot.
harder.
Yeah, so they play. That's what I'm saying. They're confident that he will find them. They know he will find them, so they play harder. They're more true to their sets, their offense. They play more within themselves. They're not that they don't play as much like just isolation ball where you're going to be susceptible to more bad shots. And that is all because of him. I mean, Mike Malone is a good coach, and he's I think it's starting to obviously the 2 seed is starting to come to fruition more this year with this group and with him. But it's all without Jokic. I think it all comes crumbling down.
Yeah, he's absolutely kind of the rock on that team. Like they have a lot of good players, but they don't even have a second All-Star, and they've been battling for
They
one
don't.
in the West all year.
They have, and they've been one for stretches of time. They've been one, which is immensely impressive.
So
yes.
for
first team is
I have
pretty.
Jokic.
Yeah, same. I'd go with him. But Embiid's numbers are hard to ignore. He's averaging 27 and almost 14 rebounds. So I wouldn't be surprised if the group of whoever votes puts him on the first team. Who votes for All NBA?
It's just media members.
Members.
It's like around 100 media members or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like just historically, like whoever. I mean, it's the flashier numbers get the awards and the accolades. Less so the conversation we were just having about Jokic's effect on the team. But if we are picking what both of us come to think is our first team, it's got to be Jokic for sure.
Yeah. So second team. Obviously for center, I have Embiid.
Embiid.
Yeah, I think I kind of gave that away a little bit, but I think they have been. I don't even know who you would even argue as is at those two guys' level. Like those are two of the 10 best players in the league.
If anything, I mean, talking about a center, damn near Brook Lopez is the next. Like he's been having a great season, but like, no, that's sort of a joke, but yeah, and that position is sort of thin around the league, especially with Boogie being less, what he is, especially just in the spot that he's at. And with AD arguably even being a center, and then also just the wackiness of his season. So it's those guys. Those guys run the show when it comes to the 5 spot for sure.
And then for my my second team guards, I have Dame Lillard and Kemba Walker right now.
I like the Kemba pick. I like the Kemba pick a lot. Yeah, I mean
his team's not really winning, but like that is just one of like that has to be the most like I'm totally stranded on a team that doesn't even have like a second
good player.
Yeah, who even I don't even know if you can definitively say who the second best player on the Hornets is.
Like
I'd probably go Zeller.
Probably, or you like Batum? No, like he's fallen off the map. Like Zeller or Miles Bridges, like what?
Lamb, maybe.
That's off.
Yeah.
What? Bismack Biyombo. Like, oh my god. No, they are. Because I just put like they're. It's a marvel that they were. It speaks to Kemba that they've been in the playoff hunt all season. What the hell?
Yeah. I put Kemba on the second team for for his carrying job that he's been doing this year.
Yeah, I think you almost have to.
And then I want to I feel like I need to apologize a little to Dame Lillard because I've never been a huge Damian Lillard fan.
Same.
This year he's won me over though.
Yeah.
I have him on the second team. He was clearly the third guy behind Curry and Harden. He was on the second team last year, but I always kind of looked at that as like, oh, that's like kind of like one season. That's not
Mm-hmm.
him consistently.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like I can't ignore it. He's the third. He has been the third best guard in the league this season.
Yeah, I think he has too. I'm just trying to like, Westbrook is having one of the worst shooting seasons from a good player ever.
Or
Um,
anyone. Just
from
anyone,
yeah, anyone,
period.
period. Yeah. So I like that. To me, that just discounts anything that he was doing this year. I think he is. I am a staunch Westbrook hater. I don't. So like, because a lot of people would probably put him first team because of his triple double.
I know. I don't
Both
know
like
anyone who's gonna put him
BS.
first.
Some like just clown people who don't actually know about, but like are like NBA fans who just, like trust me, I've had conversations with just like goons, like people who just don't. Yeah, we're not even gonna get into that. So it has to be Dame Lillard. Like we're talking like you look at these better teams, and even like I was hoping and sort of assuming that DeMar would have been like have his best season of his career now, like going to San Antonio. He's just to switch it, like I feel like they just been like he got kind of just stuck in that like repetitive cycle in Toronto. I was like, okay, he's out of there. Like maybe like he's in his prime, kind of the middle of his prime. He's starting to get older. Like maybe he will go, but like there's nobody else. Like even like then you're still talking about DeMar. Like Lowry has been good, like cool, but hasn't had to carry the load. Like Dame does, and put up what Dame does. It's got to be Damian Lillard. I mean, I'm just trying to rack my brain for somebody else to argue, but no, it can't even. So,
Yeah, the only
it's a
one,
safe.
the only one who I've kind of been looking at, who I'm not totally sure where to place him between second, third, or not on it at all, is Brad Beal.
Yeah, he's been balling out without John Wall, but they're bad. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, and they've been like other until the Lakers recently, they were the most dysfunctional team in the NBA. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh
Consistently.
yeah, it's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, Brad Beal, like it feels
Exactly.
a little weird.
It does feel weird. But it's hard to ignore doing. I mean, he's putting up almost 26. He's having aside, like looking at his numbers right now. I mean, aside from a much lower 3-point percentage, he's having an extremely similar statistical season to Steph Curry. His scoring is a little bit lower, but the same assists and rebounds, same low turnover rate, same amount of like steals. His field goal percentage is 48%, right up there. He just does not shoot the three like him, but he is that, and that's a testament to, I mean, yeah, like the dysfunction, the team around him, just that whole atmosphere must be hard to play in. And then the inconsistency of having John Wall there, and when he is there, like what are you going to get from him? So Brad Beal's persevered and done. I mean, had a career year. He's under massive contract there, right?
I thought he was. They obviously traded Porter now, but I thought Beal was the least expensive of those three.
Okay.
I know Wall is by far the most.
Okay, he has. I'm looking. Yeah, he has 2 more years after this year, and he signed a 5-year like huge deal in 2016 in the 2016's free agency.
Yeah, but
so
Wall is like Wall is on the designated player extension, which like kicks in next year. He's making like some ridiculous amount.
The biggest bag possible. Yeah. But yeah, Brad Beal, it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a hard time ranking him.
Because if like, because we're still on the second team. If we're talking, okay, so because if Brad Beal's on it, so I think we've established if Brad Beal is on one of the All NBA teams, it'll be the third team. If so, we could get back to that. I want to just kind of get it out there because I'm pretty sure you'd be on the same page. Maybe a little bit flexible, but the second team forwards, Kawhi and LeBron.
Oh no, I'm Kawhi and Durant.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Kawhi and Durant for sure because I think LeBron has missed like 20 games at this point.
With a fake injury. He was not hurt. People are still like, I even heard on like some stupid talk sports thing a couple days ago, like, oh, well, LeBron's still working his way back. Where? He didn't hurt himself. He took himself out. They said there was one, like, people didn't even talk about it. Like, a couple weeks before he came back, I got like a notification quickly, like maybe saw him into like a quick thing, like, LeBron has been cleared to play. And then nobody talked about that, and he was still hurt for 2 weeks. And do you remember what I'm talking about? Do you remember him? Like, it was reported that he was cleared to play weeks before he came back. And then people are still talking about now that he's coming back from his injury. Like, so I'm trash that. So I just assume I said that assuming maybe that would be what you said, but yeah, you can't. I feel and that was kind of a case of maybe my mind just kind of blinking on KD just because of like, oh, Warrior. I don't like necessarily think about.
Yeah, he's been so under the radar this year too.
Yeah, he's without KD, the Warriors are susceptible. They're very susceptible. I think he's probably going to leave in free agency, and they will not win the finals next year. That's a whole different discussion. But I think without KD there, they will get they will get dethroned with it because he is he's absolutely essential. I wasn't definitively saying Kawhi and LeBron. I was just putting it out there. Because that seems,
I can't put LeBron on the
no, you can't because that's.
And if you want to talk about dysfunction, it's like Brad Beal is not the cause of the dysfunction on the Wizards.
Exactly.
LeBron is the main cause,
the artery of the dysfunction, like the main just vein of it. Yeah. KD is second. KD is like a lot of seasons, if he was still doing like he could be first team. Like he's the best player in the league in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. But it's just like I'm not gonna talk about him for MVP. Just I don't like.
Yeah, he hasn't
just
had
the circumstances,
and he hasn't had that like that dominant KD season. Like he's been kind of mopey and moody.
Yeah.
But like he's still
with the team and everything.
To game very good.
Oh, I'm talking about like basketball talent. Like if you're gonna like playing the game of basketball, offense, defense, all of it, playing up and down, running a 5-on-5 on a full NBA court. Who is the best player? Kevin Durant. There's no one better than Kevin Durant at basketball, at professional basketball. But that's a whole that can be a whole other discussion.
I want to get back to that once we get to the third team.
He's got he's got to be second team, and then we got second team center as Joel.
Joel Embiid. What was I gonna say? I think it was something about KD. Oh yeah. Someone on Twitter last night was talking about, because I think it was like Bleacher Report or Slam or something, posted like, oh, can we please have a one-on-one tournament at All-Star Weekend? And then someone was like, yes, we should have this. By the way, KD would dominate. And I was really thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I have a hard time picking anyone else in a one-on-one tournament because he has height, he has a shot, he attacks the rim, and he's like an A- defensive player. Like that's all you need in one-on-one is like rebounding, shooting, attacking the rim, and defense.
Yeah, and with him, one of the reasons I say he's so good is, like you said, with the height, he is 7 feet, and he is just as good of a shooter as almost anyone there is. His 3-point percentage. His 3-point percentage is down a little bit this year. but that I don't think you can look too much. There's nothing.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's just the
that's just
randomness.
that just NBA. You play so many years that's gonna happen. You can't even contest his jump shot. That's why a lot of times in transition, like if the things aren't going well, KD will just catch in transition and just launch a three, and it's just and it's just water, and then they're good again. Like they're cool. Like they were kind of maybe the other team starting to come back, and the KD's like, give me the ball, and you've seen like a couple like where Dream like especially when there was like that big like where KD and Draymond were like fighting that like whole like drama, which I still like yeah, I think that there's something there, but like I still with that I don't think you can need to look into that too much.
I
but
mean,
like
by all accounts, that got like like Draymond just brought that to a totally personal level.
Yeah,
like
and
like that they were fighting about like not getting the ball, and he's like, "Fuck you, dude! You're not even gonna be here next year." It just like took it right there.
Yeah, just right away. I mean, Draymond's that's just he's a character. But like when you see the film of KD on the court, like clapping for the ball, like Rennes, like give me the ball, like give him the ball, dude. Give him the freaking ball. What? Like
yeah, that's like the whole reason why you have him is like.
I was gonna say he came here to just be that guy. So you could just give him the ball and not really have to worry. So you can't. Yeah, that's what you can't contest it. KD is, and then it's not like he doesn't play defense. He will lock you up. He'll block your 3-point shot. Like he is so long. He doesn't even have to be strong or like really try that hard. He's just so long. He'll disrupt plays on defense, and even if he gets beat off the dribble, he can still contest your layup. You know, like from behind.
He's a really really good rim protector.
Yeah,
especially the last couple years.
Yep. Yep. He's had to improve like with the lineups that the years run with like the offensive minded stretching the floor lineups. Yeah, he's had to do that, and he's proved that he can do that with just as well as really anybody in the league. So,
and sneakily, he's one of the 5 guys I would feel most comfortable guarding LeBron in a playoff series. Like he seems to really bring it on defense when he plays LeBron, and he's one of the only people who has like the requisite like speed and like length to actually like kind of bother him.
Yeah. I think it's when it comes to when LeBron like that in the playoffs, it has to Durant or Kawhi is who you want,
or Giannis,
and obviously or Giannis. And Kawhi already beat LeBron in the finals, so he's already has that on the resume. That's not even he won't even have that conversation with you. You just have to look at the record books. I mean, that's already happened. He's been there, done that. That's not even a thing. And KD is in that same tier when it comes to the one-on-one defense, one-on-one offense. KD will he's cream of the crop. And even in the team setting, playing the team ball, especially this year, it's been a little more, I guess, cloudy when it comes to how great the whole team situation is. But I mean, they've won titles. They've been great. I don't think that there's anything to detract from KD there.
Yeah. So ready to move on to the third team?
Yeah, third team, absolutely.
All right. For my 2 guards on the third team, I have Brad Beal and I have your guy Russell Westbrook.
See, and it's because like there aren't as many like star players. I feel like I don't know. Like there's a lot of like solid guards, like Chris Middleton, Jamal Murray, D'Angelo Russell, like all these guys who are great players, like who I would rather like have on my team than Russell. But like, can you put them on the third team All NBA? Like who is above that like group, that tier that I'm talking about right now? Like who solidifies them out of that pack to get on the team instead of Russell?
To be honest, I thought about Westbrook for second team, honestly,
really?
because even though he's even though he's not shooting well, and he's still spazzy on defense, he's still like he's still the most athletic point guard. He still can get to the rim whenever he wants,
Mm-hmm.
and he just there's something about him on the Thunder where it's like George and Westbrook and Adams just on both ends. You're just kind of like fighting with them constantly.
Yeah.
Like the physicality of those three is just kind of like on both ends is like overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And I think
Um.
he gives like that physicality and that like something that like I've criticized his kind of like battering ram style before,
Mm-hmm.
but it does like kind of, especially now that like in the at the end of games he's deferring again to somebody.
Yeah,
He's
which
deferring to
is
Paul George
important,
now.
very important for
Mhm.
his just everything.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
very important.
Mhm. Yeah, so now that he's done that and now that he's not doing the whole like tank the team in the last like few
Uh
minutes
huh.
type of thing, I
Uh
just
huh.
think that that's such a valuable thing to have. Someone who just gets to the rim whenever, and
Mm-hmm.
he's almost like Giannis in that respect, where it's like the whole game you're just like oh man, he's at the rim again dunking. We need to like find some way to stop him from getting there.
Mm-hmm. Um. Yeah, that's fair. That's very true. But like he misses a couple of shots and then he tries to get going with the bank shot and it just is the worst bank shot I've ever seen. And then it's just I'm like I hate you. That's really shallow. He's just so sloppy. I hate. He's one of my least favorite players to watch. So, but I like to watch the Thunder because Paul George is nice. He
Yeah.
is smooth. Paul George can hoop. Like he's
Mhm.
natural. I feel like Russell is just he's like an athlete who just like plays this sport. Like he just kind of like he shows up. He can play football and whatever. Like he
Mhm.
comes here, he plays bad. He's like this big ripped dude who like is really fast and plays basketball with these like pros. Um, but for the
Also,
13,
the weirdest thing about his shooting struggles, by the way, is all like how is he shooting 65% from the line all of a sudden?
yeah,
That
that's
makes no sense.
what.
I can't understand that at all.
Yeah, it's like he lost any shooting touch that he sort of had before. Like he had a kind of a shot before.
Yeah, he had a nice
Like
like pull up jumper
a
for like a
cool
couple
jumper.
seasons
Yeah,
there.
like a cool jumper. But now, yeah. Oh yeah, his free throw percentage is like for the bulk of his career has been in the 80s. Its bulk of his career has been in the 80s,
Yeah, he
and now
just
it's on a
forgot how to
65.
shoot free throws.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, the majority of his seasons, his 3-point percentage has been pretty deplorable.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just looking at his stats right now. But and then from the field, that has brought his field goals down. But like, yeah, around the rim, he's excellent. But even then, he has some sloppy plays around the rim where I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
you're just going so crazy. Just lay it in. Like you're trying so. It's like you're trying so goddamn hard to get the ball in the hoop that it just doesn't go. Like just lay it in. Like I would put Kyrie 13 before Russell.
Yeah, I thought about Kyrie too.
Because I'm just looking at his numbers too. I mean, he's like they've had some sort of dysfunction, but it has not stopped Kyrie from balling out. He's shooting
yeah,
a
he has
he's shooting a
been
career high from three, and he's shooting career highs. His shooting is all career highs
yeah.
except for the line. Assist career high, rebounding a career. I mean, he's doing a lot, and he's still putting up 23 games. They're still good. Just because the Celtics have underperformed doesn't mean they're bad. And they had a big win. What was it? Was that last or the night before last
On the Warriors.
in Golden State?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I don't feel uncomfortable putting Kyrie above Russell on the 13 at all.
Yeah, Kyrie he was probably the single hardest person for me to
To leave
kind of
off.
to just rank in general.
Okay.
Like I don't even know what to do with his season to be honest. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's
It's been weird. I will admit. It's been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some games he looked where like especially early in the season, like you would
Earlier.
watch him and you'd be like, oh man, is like is he like it's got to be Steph 1, Kyrie 2 in terms of like point guards.
Yeah.
And then lately it's like they get beat by Portland and Dame Lillard is
Mm-hmm.
like destroying him like
Mm-hmm.
and
No,
clearly outplaying him.
yeah, he takes himself out of game. I feel like he gets a little emotional. Dude gets like a little like bratty, like with the media, like in game. Like you look him on the bench sometimes. Like sometimes he's just like a little like Kyrie's like I don't even like. Do I want to stay here? Do I want to play tonight? Like I don't like. Yeah, he can be kind of like a little weenie.
Yeah, he's been really mercurial this year, and I don't
Yeah.
really know how to process that fully.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll say if we were talking about first team, I'd be more inclined to be to I'd take that into account. I'd weight that more, like the weirdness and the just off and on nature of him. But this, I mean, it's the third team, and he's like he just has played better than Westbrook's like offensive, like we've been saying. I mean, like I said, like he's still putting up career highs. He's playing great on offense. He was pretty dominant in a lot of instances, especially early in the season. But that's still the season. So I'm third. It's 13. Like it's still the top 15 players in the league. But to me, I'm not gonna I'll put Brad Beal on the 13, but I wouldn't even if he was playing even better than he is, it would still wouldn't probably put him on the first team because of obviously he's on a bad team and the dysfunction and the weirdness of the situation. But it's the third team. I'll throw him on the third team. He's playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Throw Kyrie on the third team. Still playing really well. And therefore, like I would. Do you have LeBron as a third team forward?
Yeah, so that's a good segue into the forwards. On my
because I think that's still in the same realm. Like, yeah, I would, and I did mention LeBron second tier just because, and LeBron is always like just over. Like, it's the hype around him is always just going to be something. Like you have to have that conversation. Like everyone else is going to have that conversation, so I have to have that conversation. But it's still, I think his season falls into that same realm that I was just talking about. Where I'll throw LeBron on the third team. He's playing great. The drama, dysfunctional team, non-playoff team, shitty, but great player. Yeah, he can be on the third team. That's cool. That's how I look at it, I guess.
Yeah, for my third team forwards, I had I have Carl Towns. Really underrated season.
Yeah, but he's not a center.
Underrated. You can put him either.
I think
guess.
he's listed as he's listed as a center.
I mean, he plays both. He plays next to like Gorgie Jang, like
that's
like
true.
he toggles back and forth. Like if you can put Davis as either, you can definitely put Towns as either.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm just pulling up his numbers here. Yeah, like I haven't been paying enough attention to him more. I mean, because of the Timberwolves just situation, I guess.
Yeah, they're not exactly a must-see team.
Yeah, they're not exactly a model franchise. But he's averaging 24 and 12 with 50-40. 50-40, 83.
Yep.
52, 40, 83 to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
He's back at that level where you're like, this is a future top 5 player.
Mm-hmm.
He's reclaimed that status as like prized young superstar.
Well, yeah, he definitely has to be on the third team.
And his last 5 games, what is he averaging? Like 35 and like 13 or something like that. Like he's just been ludicrous down the stretch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised they're still where they're at. Like Derrick Rose has been solid. You know, Wiggins has had some games where he's played well.
Yeah, but Wiggins is one of those guys where it's like every good game is a makeup game. Like
you're right. Yeah,
like that is true. He's always like, all the time.
he just
He has
he's
so
just
many
late.
blah
Ooh,
games.
Wiggins is shooting 40% from the field.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That is
He
god awful.
he's like
He did,
he's like Jeff Green too. Like
yeah,
that's what he is. He's like a
yeah,
guy who you
literally.
expect like cuz he's the guy who'll do like the 720 dunk in practice and you're like, "Oh
Hmm.
man, this guy has to be like one of the 10 best players in the league." And then you watch him and it's like, "No, actually he's
Hmm.
not at all." Like
Yeah,
he just
yeah,
can't really shoot. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't exert his athleticism like you would expect.
yeah. Um, he doesn't try. I don't think he tries. It's um, yeah. So, but it's hard. Like, well, what center would you put on the 13? Then, because I would damn near like put Towns as the center, and then you have at forward. You have LeBron, and because like what like I would think that there's got like
I I'm not gonna
who would you
lie
have at center?
for my third my last third team forward, I just left it blank. I have no idea who to put
Yeah,
on this.
and that's what I'm saying too. Like I'm searching players right now, like trying to compare some players, and I'm like, yeah, there's
Because
some good.
trying to evaluate on for the third team forward, trying to think about like LeBron and AD, because
Mm-hmm,
here's what I was alluding to earlier when you brought up that KD is the best player in the league and I
mm-hmm,
said I wanted to kind of table that until we talked about the third team.
mm-hmm.
Because for me, I still honestly think LeBron and Anthony Davis are 1 and 2 in the league.
I don't think LeBron's even top. Like I think KD, Giannis, Steph. Well, maybe not Steph is better than LeBron, like overall, but like KD, Giannis, like I'd even damn near say Kawhi is better. Like LeBron, like watching LeBron play, he puts up numbers, but I don't. He's not near. He's not as good as last year. He's not as good as when his like not nearly as good as his first couple of years in Cleveland. I mean, obviously, the further you go back, the better he'll get when he gets when we get back to Miami and everything. But like yeah, there've been all the knocks on defense, but like and it's the knocks on defense. You could say like oh he's just taking, but like it's when he's on defense on a lot of possessions. It's like you're playing 4-on-5. He's not even there. He's not even there. And then on offense, he just gets pissed at people. He defers to these random players on offense when it's like you're
Out of
like
anger.
if and it's like and when Kuz shoved him
That
to
was
contest, I was
so
like
funny. Yeah,
good
that was
dude.
so
Yeah,
funny.
like if I was in the I'm like I don't give a fuck who you are. Contend, you're playing an NBA game. You're in a playoff push. You desperately need to make the playoffs for your legacy. We're coming here. Put a goddamn hand up, you bitch! Like what the? If I was Kuz, I would have I would have spun him around, punched him in the face, and then shoved him out to the wing to contest a shot. What the? Like he has been a little puss. Like what? He is not the best player in the league. LeBron is there's not the best player in the league. Even when he gets to the rim at will, he fails to finish sometimes. He's not as good of a finisher sometimes. Like, and I feel like a lot of the highlight dunks that he has, people just get out of his goddamn way. Like. Man, and I've always been a pretty big fan of LeBron, but this season has been just awful for me. Like it's been like, dude, you really you think the world revolves around you, like, and I mean, but it's to give both sides to that. The world pumps it. The world acts like it revolves around him. A lot of the world does. The basketball world. It's
Mm-hmm. So
just
here's my case for LeBron still being number one. He kind of did this last year, like when he's really like moody and unhappy. Like
yeah.
he did that thing last year where he just didn't play defense whatsoever. He honestly might have even been worse for stretches last year. Like in like January, February last year, he just literally was not playing. It was I think it was honestly even worse than what he's doing now.
Mm.
But then once you get into the playoffs, he's just like, all right, I'm LeBron James. I turn it on. I'm obviously the best.
Yeah, well, see,
and until I see that not happen, I can't take him off one.
Well, my thing is to argue against that. And that's a good point. But my thing is to argue against that is he's not not even gonna be there this year. So if you're the fucking the label of the game, playoffs, regular season, there is a ball and a hoop. You're on the court. You're suited up. You're playing the game. This is the game. You think you're the best. You can turn it on to be the best at any time. Okay, if you can do that, then you need to do that to get your team to the playoffs. So you can do that in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a fair point. His
like
his
playing the
playoff mode
game of
activated
basketball.
has not worked.
That was a fake tweet. That was somebody hacked his Twitter because that's not like, dude. And that's why I feel that's one of the reasons why I feel like he is like maybe he did it last year too, but like he did it last year when they were like guaranteed they were gonna be in the playoffs no matter what, and he's like slacking on defense. Like they were in the East, like Cleveland. Yes, of course they're gonna be there. Maybe they're the 3 or the 4 instead of the 1, but yeah, they're gonna be there so he can turn it on. But now they're clinging to even being qualified to even make it, and he's like not playing defense because I think he's doing that. So people will say like, oh, well, he's just, save it like he does it last year. Like, no, he's not as good and he knows it. So he's just sitting around so he doesn't have to play hard and get beat and be called not as good. People will just say, oh, he's just doing like what you just said. That's what I think when it comes down to him.
Yeah, that can't be ruled out. I mean, he did, when he got swept in the finals, he did immediately come out with a cast and make a big show of it.
Mm-hmm. And he had a fake injury this year. So if you have a fake injury, I think a lot of what you do is not very valid if you have a fake injury. So there's that too, folks.
Yeah.
Like
this is why I had a hard time with the third team forward spot, because it's like you're looking, you immediately you want to say like, oh yeah, LeBron James, you got to put him on one of the All NBA teams, but then you look at like just like what he's been doing on the court.
Oh yeah, and I've been a staunch. Obviously, this episode right now, I've said every knock to him he possibly could, and I'll still throw him on the 13 because like who else like.
Yeah, I thought about Davis too for third team forward, but that's abysmal. That's just terrible.
That's bad for the league if he's third.
Yeah, that's
with his
terrible.
minutes restriction.
Yeah,
but he's still averaging. But then you look at it, he's played. I mean, he's played 51 games, averaged on 27 and 12. Shooting 51 and 30, 51, 32, 80.
Yeah, but before the trade demand, his stats were like super high, and they've gone down since then. Obviously, he's been on the minutes restriction. And there was that. Who were they playing where he literally was like 2 for like 15 or something like that? Like a center is like shooting like abysmal.
I don't even remember it, but
it was awful. It was like a complete like embarrassment for the Pelicans franchise and the NBA and the whole thing of like, oh yeah, our players like trying and like playing hard for the like, oh yeah, they can't. we don't want them resting on national TV games because we want the fans to see them on the road. And then you have Anthony Davis just like, all right, well, I made a trade demand. I didn't get traded. Now my team hates me, so I guess I'll just like not do stuff.
Yeah, he was 1 for 9 in 24 minutes in a loss to the Magic.
Yeah, against the Magic
a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yep.
And 0 for 0 from 3. So to me, that just sounds like AD just like not even giving a goddamn.
Yeah, that is.
If I were him, I wouldn't like. I mean, if I were him, I would have made different decisions prior. But
yeah, fair.
But at this point, screw it, dude. Like, screw it. I would catch the ball and just throw it towards the hoop wherever I was. Like, whatever.
Here's the thing about AD, though. If I could bet on it right now, I would put money on him for next year's MVP. I feel like whatever team gets him, like they're like he's gonna come into training camp and like the entire like entire NBA media like sphere is gonna be like, oh my god, like this team, whatever team ends up with him in the summer, they're gonna be like, this team is literally like they can't even believe that they were lucky enough to end up with this dude. Like what he did down the second half of last year or last third in the playoffs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That stretch is not something that you can do if it's a fluke. Like
True.
you can't dominate to the degree that he did and it be a fluke. Like there was one of the months he was averaging like 35 a game without really threes. Like that's
Yeah. Yeah.
insane. And
I think.
I thought about him for defensive player of the year as well.
Mm,
Like he was unreal. And
mm-hmm.
I think he hasn't shown it obviously this year, but if we're stacking them up and picking them on a pickup or in a 2K fantasy draft or whatever, I would take
Mm-hmm.
AD. I would take AD over Durant.
Wow. I would say that's very fair because I think he's the. I mean, I'd say if we're talking about best, like I was saying before, best just basketball players. AD is AD is right behind KD for me. But that's just because I think if you have guard skills, that just means more and affects the game more, and is just if you can be with guard skills rather than as a big man, it's more dominant. It's harder to do, and it like what I said with KD will just catch the ball and just launch in transition, and it's just what, and then he can get down to the paint and still dunk on you and still dominate down there, post up, fade on you, hit the jump. Like AD could, but he's not gonna catch in transition and just launch that or just go he will go, but he doesn't go coast to coast. He's not just gonna. He dominates the game in a different way, which I feel like is barely less like we're talking about less. I'm talking about less dominant. Like they're both just insanely great, just cream, the best you could possibly get in any respect. But I think KD's dominance is a tick more dominant than AD's dominance, if that can be said. If that's allowed.
Yeah, I've just always been a huge Anthony
Davis
guy.
I know. Yeah, and that's totally
what he, and especially last year once they finally got him to just commit to being a center and just kind of playing around the rim with space and acting as the lob guy, and there were times on free throw rebounds and correct me if I'm wrong, but last year wasn't there a free throw offensive rebound game winner against the Spurs that he had? That sort of stuff is
it's insane.
Yeah, he's ridiculous, and he's one of those guys where you can perfectly pair him with any other superstar because it's just oh yeah, you be the ball handler, I'll be the roll man.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's so easy to plug him in.
That's true. Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if he was the MVP next season. I mean, I think and that's a thing where if we're talking about best players too, I think any team KD is on, any team AD is on, is in either conference. Well, I guess I can't be because the Pelicans haven't been that great, which is just baffles me. But I was gonna say any team
he hasn't done anything really. He just doesn't. He's checked out.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying even been on this team for a long time and been a great player, and they haven't done I guess last year was their best season. They won that playoff series and everything. Because what I was about to say was any team that KD or AD is on is guaranteed a playoff. They should be guaranteed a playoff team, guaranteed relevant. They are good. They are a good team. Which last year New Orleans was good. I'll say they were a good team last year. This year, not asterisk on this year. A couple years ago, we're okay for that. Okay, arguably bad. You know what I'm saying. But has AD reached new heights? Did AD reach a new height last season? Would you say that? Do you think he's become? Oh yeah. So if that's where we're at, then, and I would agree. What you said, the run he went on the end of the season, they won that playoff. They did have their best season they've had with him there, especially. So I think I can't stand by that. That's why they're LeBron. They're not in the playoffs. There's all this drama, all this blah, 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 blah. AD or KD. when they're fully on the, like, AD's not fully on that team. He's not actually a part of that team. When they're on a team, they're all in. They're really fighting. They're really, they're really, playing to win. They're really going for it. Then it's them. They're in the playoffs. They're a relevant team. They're very good, and that's why them two are the best in the league.
Yeah, I can see it. I just can't. I can't go against LeBron until I see him not be able to turn it on. Which maybe you could argue is right now because he said he was turning it on, and
they're not even gonna be there. That's my they're not even gonna. He's not even gonna have the chance to turn it on because he didn't turn it on when he was supposed to turn it on. So what the fuck is all this turning on? He's just not. He's gonna be just at the beach in June. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just to round out the All NBA team, you asked me who my third team center was.
Yeah.
I think Gobert's had a really underrated season.
That's true. Okay.
He didn't even make the All-Star team, which I feel like is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like him and Paul George really for Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Those two battling, and then he's an underrated offensive player. I've always kind of felt that way because I think just in general, like most people underrate like the rim running center.
I was about to say the roll man.
Yeah.
Because I think he's just an exceptional version of that.
Yeah.
Like even if that is an underrated possession, he is exceptional. I mean, his hands, his physique.
Size.
Yeah, that's what I was. But like his like the size he has and the way he's put it, like the length that he has, I feel like is just different than any other long guy ever. Like I don't know, like he's very fluid. He's not, like bumbling down the lane. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very fluid.
Yeah.
Smooth stride. Like he's just a very he's much smoother than you would assume for a player done, and he can just throw it. Like he gets so far above the rim with his height and his length, and it's just a unique combination that he has where he can like lobs like nothing. I mean, you can. Yeah, he is the the picturesque rim running center. And
I would say AD is the ideal, but second choice I would say Gobert.
Yeah, I would say AD is higher tier, like a different tier of player. AD is more rounded out on offense. He can put it on the deck a little. He can shoot a little. I was talking about more that like DeAndre Jordan, Rudy Gobert's type of player. The ideal version of that, where like your main defensive player, but you set picks on offense, basically.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like he doesn't even really post up. Like you wouldn't even really want him to. Like that type, like where you're not really an offensive player, but you do something on. I mean, he's 15 and 13. Basically putting anytime he gets a look on offense, he just puts it in the hoop. He's shooting 65. He's 13, no question. Yeah. So I think then, and then you have to have Towns as a forward then, because there's no way Gobert is. So then it's I guess.
So then for that last forward spot, because it just feels dumb. It feels dumb leaving LeBron off.
Because there's nobody to put ahead of him. There's nobody to put ahead of him. What, LaMarcus Aldridge? Like, no. There's no one to put ahead of him.
I was thinking a little bit Draymond, but then I remembered that
he's had the worst season of his career.
Yeah, he started really
except
slow.
for like the rookie, except for like his like when he wasn't an all-star. Like he's had his season since being a relevant player.
Yeah, he started really slow.
Yeah. It's like, and because LeBron's like, his raw stats are exceptional. They're first team raw stats.
Yeah.
So he's there. Therefore, he kind of has to be on the third team.
Yeah, LeBron on the third team. I looked for an alternative, but I couldn't really.
I tried. If Chris Middleton was average like at least 23 a game, maybe I would. But he's not. His role has even Well, it's just a little like Giannis's dominance has just upped, so doesn't have to score as much, and his field goal percentage is a little low
Yeah, and
compared to
not
last year.
he's not that like superstar player. Like he's
Yeah,
really good, but he's not.
No, but I was gonna just be if he was averaging say 23 or 24 on that number one seed. He's an efficient, a quality player, plays hard, doesn't have fake injuries, doesn't cause drama. So then maybe I would put him over LeBron just as like a punishment, like LeBron. This has been such a bullshit. You came to LA and everyone was excited. It was supposed to be a great for the league. This is gonna be a great new thing, and it's been bullshit. So like you don't even deserve. Yeah, he doesn't deserve.
Remember that? Remember when everyone was like, "Oh yeah, LeBron on the Lakers is gonna be like the best thing for the league viewership."
Yeah, it's so good. Like they'll be them and the Rockets and all them will be contending with the Warriors. Like it'll be so good. Like no,
like LeBron. What he's done on the Lakers has completely ruined two team seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. True.
Completely submarine them.
Yep, the Cavs and the Lakers. Yep.
Oh, I was thinking the Pelicans.
Oh, yeah. True. Very true. But basically all he did that was good for the league by going to LA was freed the East. He just freed it up. He allowed Giannis to, which
it's not. I don't even think it's not like they would even be a threat if he's. I don't think they would have made it out of the second round.
The Cavs.
Yeah, if they had kept LeBron, I don't see that.
Yeah, and that's a whole like what if and hypothetical argument to have or a debate to have. But it's just his presence there, like him just not even being installed. It's just it's much more up for grabs. You can't say, oh well, like there's the king in the playoffs and the East will have to go through the king in the play. No, it's just all these guys get a clean slate without, because he's just had that for better or worse, that just dominant cloud over the East for the last decade. Like nothing else has happened in the East besides him that like you'll actually remember. So that's the best thing for like the league. Like just made the competitive landscape in the East like much more exciting. I'll say that.
Yeah, and also now that I'm thinking about it, if you take LeBron off the Lakers have more talent than the Cavs without LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
It's just his drama has made them so
bad. Yeah, his drama has just taken away from the season. Like Kuz has had, and that like
and Ingram's been really
Ingram.
good.
Ingram's been really good since they've been, especially these last few games that they've been losing. He's been playing really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird. It's like what the.
I think it's because they just all hate him. Like,
like you came because they were on the they're gonna win as many games this year as last year. What did they win, like 34 last year? They have
something
30 wins now.
There.
I don't see them getting more than 4 wins the rest of the season. I don't.
And he's completely like all that stuff where it's like, oh yeah, this is like a really fun young team who's like well coached and they all really like each other. Like that's just gone. That doesn't even exist anymore.
And everyone. Well, Luke Walton's a trash coach now. Like I think he's.
Yeah, he's
okay. Like
pretty good. Yeah,
he's pretty good, and he has potential. Like, he's a young, like he could be a coach in this league for a long time. But I think LeBron is just tarnishing his whole shit. Everyone think like even people I thought like, oh, Luke Walton is trash. Like he has no idea what he's doing. Like I think he's a good coach, dude.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's not Jason Kidd.
Yeah, yeah. No, Jason. He had like. His teams are weird. That's a whole. Yeah, being a Bucks fan when Jason Kidd was the head coach was a little strange.
Yeah, and that coaching upgrade from Kidd to whoever the guy they had is like the interim to Budenholzer.
Oh,
yeah.
That's like the as far as like coach and team pairing that's happened. That is like the yes.
Yeah, Yeah,
Like
they're
that
so much better just because of him, pretty much.
yep. Like that's a huge difference. A huge difference.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's literally like Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr to
Literally 2 point. Yeah, East edition.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be
All right.
interesting. It'll
So
be interesting to see the playoffs without LeBron.
all right. So yeah, I guess that's unless you have any other thoughts you want to get out.
No, I think I'm pretty happy with those All NBA. I guess I'm just excited to see what comes of that and how the seeding plays out at the bottom of the conferences and everything.
Mhm.
That's always a worthwhile every season. It's a worthwhile little thing to follow. But
Yeah,
yeah,
this
just
should be a
ready
fun
to.
playoffs this year.
Yeah, I think it really will be. It'll be contested. Um, it'll be contested. Teams have been playing better against Golden State this
Yeah.
season. It's
Yeah.
not as I think this more than any even well because even the year that they lost the finals to LeBron, they were they were 73-9 all that
Yep.
like teams couldn't touch them. It was just that was crazy. So this year they're susceptible. Even with everyone healthy, they've been susceptible. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens in a 7-game series. Obviously, the playoffs are a whole different story. So we will see. We will see. I'm excited. I'm excited about where the NBA as a whole right now for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun, and I'd love to have you on again when the playoff season starts,
Yeah,
and
once we're in the
we can
playoffs,
really kind of delve into the matchups once we know
yeah,
them.
like what's really going on. Absolutely, yeah, that'd be fun to chat about for sure.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, that is episode 10 in the books.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, see ya. All right, that's episode 10 in the books. I thought it was a pretty good episode. That might have been our best one yet. I think actually, we touched on a bunch of good stuff in that episode. So if you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And remember, if you do actually want to sponsor the show, podcastparadise@gmail.com with a 3 instead of an E. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Happy to be back from my little 2.5 week break from the show. Good to be back, coming back strong. Probably gonna try to get uploads out. I don't know, just kind of around each weekend. So from Friday through Sunday, I'll try to have a show up every week, unless I'm like, I don't know, like in the hospital or sick or something, or there's a family emergency or whatever. So yeah, that is Max Paradise, Podcast Paradise. Hope you had a good time listening. See you later.